Hello, 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 everyone. Good Friday morning. Happy Friday morning. Good morning, whatever it is. The week is almost over. Ah, boy. Huge quad witching today. I think it's the second biggest ever OPEX. I might be wrong on that. Doesn't really matter because it's the biggest one of the year by far. So, hope everyone is doing fantastic with that double in the S and the S spiders triggered yesterday afternoon. A little follow through overnight. Big gamma levels about 3,900. Good morning, Jacob. You beat Patrick in. Congratulations, Jacob. Hey, George beat Patrick in too. And then we got Patrick. I don't know what happened to you this morning, Patrick. You're normally first in. Good morning, Waka Waka. Good morning, Gary. There you go. Good job, George. Hope you're sticking to good risk management and good probabilities. Grand Rising, Christoph. Good morning. Happy Be Careful Friday. It is Be Careful Friday. We could get quick and sudden reversals. So just keep that in mind. Good morning, Dave. Oh, quad. Well, again, it doesn't matter. Short-term conclusions from very limited results don't matter. We can very easily bounce. I mean, 3,900 is above where it's trading now. So it's just that if all quad witching or even the majority of quad witchings were green, it would be easier, but they're not. What's your directional pick on the day? I don't have one. I want today to be over. I think you mean good morning, Sashi. We already have the gap down today. We could be an up day. Yep. Finishing with my VPN. Oh, fussing with your VPN. So nobody knows you're in the land of snow. All right. What's coming out this morning besides the big OPEX, which goes on all day from a trading perspective? We have 15 minutes after the open, the S&P Global Composite PMI, Manufacturing PMI, and Services PMI. There were the ones released around the world overnight during those trading sessions, and I think pretty much everything was in contraction. And these are expected to be in contraction, so not a shock there unless for some reason they print above 50. Besides oil, remember we had that little double top trigger, and I was watching for the trailing stop and reversal down with the cycles at the top. You can see oil and gas stuff pulling back. Hey, Meta's up a little this morning, and Tesla's up a little. You see here, energy is the big negative sector, but there was, when I refreshed this earlier, no positive sector just yet. Yes, we will get some kind of back and forth. I am watching for a bounce going into the open. 73% for this is the 25 basis point. I know we're still like a long way off, roughly 6 weeks off, but I just want to keep tabs on whether the 50 starts climbing or not. But still, it's 25 basis point for Feb and about to drop up potentially into fear mode. This is a quick drop from greed to fear. Without much of a pullback here as you go, we're in negative gamma right now. You can see here, this is 3,900. And that's, you have a bigger gamma wall from puts rather than calls. But this could be a pretty substantial magnet price today of 3,900. Going to keep an eye on that, especially if we're trading around it. Back and forth around it. So negative gamma can also amplify the moves to the upside. And you're deep enough into some negative gamma that even a quick little rally to the upside does not deaden the effect that much until you start climbing up above about 39.75. Then it starts really dead. Then we start getting close to positive gamma and you lose the massive effects of negative gamma. So keep that in mind. Just for the point of completeness, very minor earnings, nothing I was looking at this morning. All right. I also put out, we closed below the 50. The lowest closed since CPI Thursday, as I covered yesterday. Did not close below the 39.12.25 area. Continued to sell off overnight. I said I was using the reverse harmonics. I posted those yesterday. 38.79, just a little dip below that, trading back above it. So right now, the overhead resistance first is roughly, just because of the key round numbers, 3,900. But on any rally above there, the 50 is overhead resistance, yesterday's close. So 39.11 to about 39.30 is major overhead resistance. We break below the currently established lows. There's no key great reversal pattern. I'm watching this to retest the lows going into the open, and then everybody generally could spot that this could be a potential double bottom. That's the only thing I will be watching into the open. But my next major level, I'm just going to jump back to the daily. Lower, if that does not hold into the open, the next major level is the breakout level from CPI Thursday. And we have the next harmonic level and the 50% harmonic. We have next projection harmonic level and the 50% harmonic from the run-up. So this is very key to the downside for me. About 38.46 to 38.35 is a key support zone on any break lower. And that's not just for today. Even if we bounce back up to the underside of the breakdown level now, I'd be watching with cycles still heading lower on the daily and weekly basis, watching for that next week if we don't hit it today. By the way, just so I remember, there will be no Sunday afternoon live stream. I will not be at home. I am doing a live stream this afternoon, which will give some of my broader thoughts. I might try to, I'm super busy this weekend. I might try to pre-record something over the weekend, but there will be no 3 p.m. live stream on Sunday. So if you want to get my thoughts in a live environment, you have to tune in this afternoon. Okay, I'm sorry about that. It's one of the rare times where I will not be around till later Sunday evening. So, again, in a nutshell, on any bounce, 3,900 is key from a option expiration level. 39.11 to about 39.30 is key for a resistance area. That's where we sit. Same thing for the NASDAQ. Coming down, 11.308 area. We've traded down right in front of that 11.312 with a little bounce so far. Yeah, I will be watching to see if this pulls back. The only thing that gets me minorly bullish today, if we don't get a double, is if it breaks above about 11.485. The key overhead resistance from this is about 11.421 to 11.497. So that 11.485 could slam right into, let me drag down some of these levels. You have some very key areas here. That is key resistance, roughly 11.460 to 11.500. So if I was doing anything to the upside, it's very limited. If there's a great pattern, that's one thing. But again, as I said yesterday, 4 days off a year I'd like to take off are quad witching. Why? Probabilities don't test out as well today. Cycle's still rolling down. My next key area on a break lower is about 11,200. We have just stuff. The 62.5 is 11,180. And right in front of that's the harmonic projection, about 11,195. I'm watching 11.2 on a break lower, with, and that's not just for today. That's with cycles still headed down on the daily and the weekly. We are back below also the weekly 200. The Dow, I'll get to comments in a second. I'll get to spiders and the Qs. The Dow, I put up the levels from the reverse harmonics, and I said I was watching for that tackling the 50 EMA in that harmonic area. We've just tagged it. The next two levels, should we break lower today, there's a little prior resistance becoming support that's minor in here about a 32.9. I will use 32.750, and then I'm keying off of the daily 200, and that's going into next week, not just for today. I would not be surprised to see this daily 200 tackled next week. Cycle's still heading down. 32,450 area. Not necessarily, probably not today. Okay, we're against the 50. We are against the 50. Rally mode. This is where I will utilize the prior harmonic, which comes in roughly at yesterday's low also. So 33,230 is going to be an area I will watch for on any rally. On a quick reversal, a more substantial reversal, I'd be looking at yesterday's close and the breakdown area. 33,450 area to about 33,436. Russell, which has just been a mess, though, testing the key support 1763. We break lower 1747 on a rally. I'm focused on yesterday's close. On any bounce about 1788. Let's get to spiders and the Qs. Not the DPY, the SPY. These Spideys. All right. 382.46. We're trading 383.88. And then everything knows now. On a rally, this is where we had the harmonics from yesterday. The last one didn't get hit, so I would use that as resistance, and it's coming in at the 37.5 harmonic. 387.10. Also, I will be dragging down my retracement harmonics to where we open, or whatever the low is after the open. Okay, so I'll be watching for that 12.5 and this prior breakdown area, or the prior harmonic area. And then, of course, above there, I'd be using my gap fill harmonics. The key resistance, though, I would not ignore yesterday's low. If we do get a little more of a rally on, 387.89, and then the close, 389.63. To the downside is 382.46, as I said before. And then, do not ignore the open from the Wednesday before CPI Thursday. The opening price is 379.93. Not just for today. The Qs. The next key harmonic area, it was 274.30, 274.40. We're trading just in front of that, 274.80, so that's still key. Below that, this is very interesting. Below that, we have the low 273.85. You break below that, there's a void in here from the gap fill. People will look at something to target. Do not ignore this. I think we will fill the gap going into next week. But do not ignore this area from the high of the Tuesday the 8th and this key little gap open in the low from the 27th, the gap open from the 28th. Do not ignore 272.23 to about 272.85. All right, so that is key. And then the next major level would be this gap open from the 9th, which is 267.76. Let's see. Let's see. All right. If there's a comment I missed, somebody put it in. Don't have any. Oh, good evening, Anissa. Here we go. JP Morgan thinks worst is over for Meta. Raised price target to 150. Upgraded to overweight. Fine. I think we'll see another retest next year during a Q1 or Q2. Anything would be very just short trading. And remember, targets, notoriously targets are horrible for analysts. Just like they're now ratcheting lower on Tesla. They're finally, all right, it's not going 300 a share. We'll make it 225. Where were they before it broke down? Nowhere. Now they're playing catch up. It's ridiculous. Analysts suck, by the way. If you want they're not traders, and they're notoriously bad with price targets. Not saying you can't get a bounce in meta. Saying, anything from my perspective would be a swing. As I talked about yesterday, thought it would hit the 50. The DAX hit the 50. You're still into a clear path move. Not necessarily watching for something major today, but next week I will be watching for 13,700. Right now, there's just not. I'd have to do some shorter term harmonics on here. This is where, from a rally perspective, it's just below here, but I'd use a 13,988 to 14K, then about 1487. Notes still just a mess. Finally getting a sell off, but my key area is 113.24, 113.23. If we get some downside momentum, that's my first target, and then breaking that, my next key area is about 113.07. Dollar index, I said I'm watching for the bottoming pattern. Inside bar from yesterday, I'm going to see if it does rally about today's high, but this might pause until the breakout next week, with cycles still moving up on the daily and weekly basis. So this move is going to be very interesting, a stair stepping down with some waning momentum. We could be putting in I'm not saying a new highs in the dollar. I'm saying a bigger bounce than a lot of people expect. VIX, OPEX, so if, I'm just pretty much ignoring the VIX today. Crude, we had the double trigger and then rolling on down and then continuing lower. So getting that rollover move that I was watching for after getting cycles back up to the top, making a double top pattern. I talked about that double top was a great way to trail a stop. Coming back down, I'm watching 72.96. Where else do we sit? Euro, US dollar. Again, I'm watching for a topping formation here with cycles rolling over and a bigger pullback. It's had a pretty decent run. We start breaking below the 50-week again. I'm watching for a return to the 50 or the weekly rotation zone. Same thing with the pound, chipping away at the key 200 and the bottom of the daily rotation zone. But I'm watching for not necessarily today, but a break lower to the support area, 119.63 to about 119.20. And that would take us back to the area of the weekly rotation zone. Bitcoin, where's the next shoe to drop? It's good. We're going to see some more crypto carnage in my book pretty soon. I'm watching 16,800. Tesla, little bounce up. Remember, declining daily rotation zone. Even 166 is the prior 166 to about 168, 167.80 is the key resistance area on any bigger bounce going to the bottom of the rotation zone. So I'm watching for a bounce back up continued. If we do turn lower, it would just be for a gap fill today, unless we get major momentum. But I'm watching for a bounce play. It's very oversold, at least to get this back to cycle tops and retest some of these key areas. to watch for more potential short setups. All right. All right. Where do we sit? Good morning. Sterling selling out of cars again. I did do Bitcoin again. I'm watching for that 16.8 level. But I'm expecting something to break again. Will they use Apple to spike the market? It can be. I mean, it's still the mega cap. What's interesting is Apple trading pre-market below key support. So if Apple could be a very interesting rollover play. I'm expecting actually next week we could test this 130 area easily, which is substantial support. That was the lows from June. Now, could it be juiced today because of its mega cap status and its weighting in the S&P? Yes. Your key resistance though today is it's trading right at the breakdown zone. It's a little above that. I should correct myself. It's trading right in front of the breakdown zone. So on any pullback, I'll be watching about mid 134s, but I will be focusing on if there's strength into the open, they'll close 136.50, which is really tight for a gap fill play. And if you're watching, other than that, about 137, just around 137 as another key breakdown area. I want to just see where it sits with. Yep. Watch that 12.5% area on if it does get through the gap fill. So, no Santa rally. Stocks could soon retest their lows. There doesn't have to be a Santa rally. I put up the stats from a very reliable person yesterday. Historically, it still does favor it. I am more geared once we get. I will be watching. I'll just give you a preview in case you can't turn in because people might have holiday stuff going on, especially starting next week. I am watching when the S&P slash NASDAQ slash Dow get with daily cycles at the bottom and weekly cycles to the bottom, which could happen towards the end of next week. Then we could have some kind of bounce. We might call it a Santa bounce the last week of the year. That's what I'll be watching for. Now, for example, in the NASDAQ, we close below 37, what is it, 37.55 area? What do you think I'm doing? Targeting the lows. Until we close above that, it's just a shorter term pullback. We close below there, targeting the lows. That's the S&P, the 37.55. The NASDAQ, my key line in the sand, is on a closing basis, a daily closing basis, 11,180. Why? We close below that. I'd be targeting the most recent low area between 10,720 to about 10,500. And also, we close below that 11,180. The bullish pattern is over after hitting the first target area. That also stops the bullish pattern in the NASDAQ. Remember, the S&P, the Dow completed their bullish patterns. So, all right. Let's just see what the S&P going into. Alright, it's still this 39 and we're 38.96, a little bounce back, 3,900 right at the open. Isn't that funny? 3,900 trading at the open. 39.11, key breakdown area. Support area, I'll just be using the harmonic. Let's check in at the tick, and then I got to jump. For quad witching, all right, sort of a negative opening with the tick. So minus 600 to minus 400 range on the bounce back on the tick will start having me take notice that some potentially bottom fishing is coming in, then above zero starts shifting it to short term to more choppy for me. Other than that, don't get chopped up. If you don't have anything to do, don't force it today. You're better to wait for Sunday night / Monday morning for short-term positioning for next week. I shall talk to everyone later. I'll be back today after the close to do a market overview and what I'm going to be watching for Sunday night, since I will not be on Sunday afternoon. Talk to everyone later. Bye.